informative speech about culture. Culture is putting on fine clothes, eating caviar, listening to classical music, and going down and with your friends and watching the sunset, looking at a leaf, and talking about the beautiful images that it brings to mind. That's culture. Or is it? In every day, your culture will affect you in the things you see, the things you hear, and the things you read. I'm gonna talk about the definition of culture, for starters, and I'm gonna talk about ways culture affects us every day, and then I'm gonna talk about ways we can improve our culture. First of all, let's start by trying to understand what culture is. Culture is Merriam-Webster defines culture as the formulation of our intellect and our moral faculties, especially by education. So every day, as we learn new things, we're building the culture that we have as a person. Well, most people, their first 25 years of their life is when they learn to develop their intellectual and their moral faculties. But we must always strive to learn more and continue our formulation. The moral faculty is basically what drives us to do what our intellect tells us is the good. If your intellect doesn't tell you what is good or what the right good is, your moral faculty will just follow whatever you want. So after you know what your culture is, or what culture is, being the basic intellectual and moral development of our faculties, how does culture affect us in our everyday life? So if culture is the development of our intellect and our moral capacities, then every day with the music we listen to, the videos we watch, newspapers we read, they all affect us, and they are what makes the culture that we have today what it is. So when we go, even in the car, and you're listening to the radio, you're working towards the culture that you will have as an individual. When you pull out a newspaper, the article you choose to read is what develops your culture. A couple of examples of how culture has developed and changed over the course of time can be seen in some of the paintings, and I'll show you some paintings from back in the 17th century. This is one by Louise Moylan. She was an artist in that era. She paid a lot of attention to detail. Then you have an artist from the 20th century, and you can just see that it's more chaotic. It's just herself sitting there. She's cut her hair. She's got her hair just laying all over the floor on the chair. And then you have Rembrandt. As far as everybody knows Rembrandt, he's one of the greatest artists of that era. And then you have Salvador Dali. And this is just chaotic picture. It has a piano with a skull and a boat kind of just thrown together on here. And I also have some music excerpts. You have Vivaldi, also from the Baroque period. And this is from the Baroque period. This was actually the radical music of that era, where they started introducing more ornamentation into the music. So this is radical music from the 17th century. You all know this music, so that's Vivaldi. And then you have some radical music, more radical music, La Folia. You know? getting to be a little bit more free with the sound. Now you have some radical music from our era, and it's a little bit more free with the sound as well. That's a real popular rock and roll group, the Disturbed, and here's another one. This is Megadeth. Even the name can kind of tell you where our culture is going. It's called the Symphony of Destruction. So we've seen what culture is and some of the things that form our culture and ourselves. And now we're going to look at ways we can improve our culture in our own life by what we read, the things we choose to read every day, books, literature, the movies we watch, the music we listen to. All this affects us in the choices we make, and ultimately we are what makes the culture that we live in. So if we choose to make some small changes perhaps in what we do, perhaps we can make a bigger impact all around. So there you have it. That's culture.